Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Catalyst webinar series presented by the Education Committee for the Southern California PGA. The Catalyst webinar is a bi-weekly educational platform for creating success and change in your club and career. Very proud and excited this morning to have Mr. Jeff Sanders of Lagardere Sports on as our presenter this morning. Many of you know who Jeff Sanders is. For those of you that don't, Jeff is currently the executive director of the Desert Classic and the Safeway Open for the PGA Tour. He is also the president of golf events for Lagardere Sports, who oversees those two events as well. He has produced over 250 golf events in his 31 years in this business, and he's raised over $250 million for charity. Jeff Sanders started Jeff Sanders Promotions in 1987, and he sold it to Lagardere Sports in 2014. Jeff was also a member of the PGA Tour for 6 years from 1980 to 1985. He was the 1981 California State Open champion. Prior to that, he is a graduate of the University of Oregon in 1979. He was second team All-American there and is a Portland native, and that's his background. Mr. Sanders, thank you very much for being with us this morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Catalyst webinar series.
Hey, John, good morning, and good morning to everybody on the call. Thank you so much for having me. I'm looking forward to the next hour or so with everybody. We're out here in La Quinta, California at PGA West this morning, where we're going to stage the Desert Classic presented by Workday next week. We're going to play PGA West Stadium, PGA West Tournament Court, or Nicklaus Tournament, and then La Quinta Country Club again this year. So everything is... we're building it right now, getting it ready. Our trucks are coming in, and it's always an exciting time. And out here today, it's absolutely perfect weather. So hopefully it'll hold for us out here. But good morning, everybody. So let's start off with this slide here that says PGA Tour Golf at the top. We have produced a number of web.com events. We produced the Albertsons Boise Open at Hillcrest Country Club. This will be our 30th year there. That event has delivered about $25 million for charity in Boise, and it's been a member of it's an original member of the Ben Hogan Tour, and now, of course, is on the web.com. It's one of the finals events, $1 million purse. It's at the end of the year. We also did the Winn-Dixie Jacksonville Open back at TPC Sawgrass for about 7 or 8 years. So we worked on the grounds of the PGA Tour back there, running that event until the new CEO came in, which happens once in a while, and he didn't love golf. So guess what? That event was over. But we ended up going out to Portland to Pumpkin Ridge and starting the Winco Foods Portland Open, which is the 25-card event on the web.com, where the top 25 money winners at the end of the year get their tour cards at Pumpkin Ridge, which is where we also staged the 1996 U.S. Amateur that Tiger Woods won, and that was his three-peat there. We did that event along with the 97 U.S. Women's Open the next year that Annika Sorenstam was trying to win 3 in a row. She did not make the cut, but we did those back-to-back USGA championships at Pumpkin Ridge, where I'm a member. And then the Safeway Open PGA Tour event started 3 years ago at Silverado. Johnny Miller is our host there, and Phil Mickelson's our ambassador. And this last year, the Safeway Open won the most fan-friendly event on the PGA Tour, sharing that honor with the Phoenix Open. We're proud of that because it was just our 3rd year. And in our business, the Phoenix Open is really the event from a fan-friendly standpoint that you want to be just like they are. It's a fantastic event with huge crowds. So we're going into our 4th year there, and then here we're our 2nd year at the Desert Classic, formerly the Career Builder Challenge. We quickly changed the name away from Career Builder Challenge. We thought it sounded like a tennis event, so we made it into a golf tournament, brought the name Desert Classic back in its 60th year. But as far as getting back to the slide, we're proud to be a part of the PGA Tour team here. As you know, the PGA Tour has raised over $3 billion for charity. This last year, the events that the 48 PGA Tour events delivered $200 million to charity. our events, all of our events, all 4 of our events, 2 webs and 2 PGA Tour events are on the Golf Channel. And, you know, so we've got 2 marquee events on the web.com, and we love doing our event in Napa and our event in La Quinta, 2 great markets for PGA Tour Golf, with Phil Mickelson, as I said, our ambassador. So that gives you a little bit of background. Let's flip to the next slide here. The Desert Classic, presented by Workday, is in its 60th anniversary year this year. Arnold Palmer won the first one in 1960. He won 4 more Desert Classics over the years. So we're going to honor Arnold this year in the 60th anniversary, induct him into the Desert Classic Hall of Fame, along with Bob Hope and Ernie Dunleavy, who was a big part of getting this event started way back in 1960. The event's raised $60 million for charity in 60 years, which is an outstanding number, since years ago, raising an average of $1 million a year for charity would have been impossible. So that's a really great number. As I said, we're out here in La Quinta. The format, as you know, is unique. If you're an amateur, you play Thursday, Friday, and Saturday in this Pro-Am. You and an amateur partner play together. You play with 2 PGA Tour pros on Thursday, 2 different PGA Tour pros on Friday, and 2 different guys on Saturday. And if you make the cut, you play on Sunday. So it's a unique experience to play in the tournament with the pros inside the ropes. So the amateurs love the experience. We like I said, took this event over in 2017. It needed a freshening up, let's call it. So we brought our entertainment model in here, which we've implemented up in Napa: food, wine, music, golf, and kind of bringing more things to the table than just the golf. The golf is sort of the centerpiece, but all the other fun things that we bring to the table make it more of an entertainment event. And we'll get to that in a minute as it relates to concerts and things like that. So we try to make our events very affordable. It's only $30 to go to the Safeway Open. It's only $30 to go to the Desert Classic. That's by design. We're trying to build an audience in both markets, grow the number of people that are going to go. We want to give them as much value as we can. In both markets, we've taken away wristbands and badges and cover charges, so that we can get all of the fans to come out and enjoy everything without having to spend more money than the $30, including go to concerts. So again, that's part of our model. We want to drive big attendance, and we don't rely on the revenue from ticket sales to pay our expenses. That comes from sponsorship sales. And so it's all about getting people to go to the events. And of course, we all know that the lifeblood of all events is fans. So we're big on that. We're real focused on making sure it's really affordable and a great deal for all of our fans. As I said, Bob Hope's influence is still here. Bob and his entertainment background with Frank Sinatra, Bing Crosby, Andy Williams, Glenn Campbell, the presidents of the United States that played here, Reagan, Ford, and on, Clinton, and on and on and on. We've tried to keep that going. We don't bring celebrities in anymore. This doesn't really work, but we have entertainment as a big part of this event here in the desert. No different than Bob Hope did when he was alive, and when this event was the Bob Hope Desert Classic. It had a reputation for providing fantastic entertainment for all the Pro-Am players. Some of those entertainers I mentioned would play in the evenings at the Pro-Am functions and things. Bob had amazing influence. His influence over NBC is what got NBC to televise this event. He made a special deal with them. I'm not sure anybody's ever going to know what it really was, but they were here because of Bob, so that's why NBC televised this event every year, that he had his name on it. The top tier players, challenging to get here because of the Hawaii start. A lot of guys go over to Hawaii and play there, and for a couple of weeks and in the wind, and then sometimes they take this week off. Although world number 1 Justin Rose committed here a couple days ago. Phil Mickelson is playing. John Rahm's our defending champion. We've got some guys from Europe: Graham McDowell, Danny Willett, Schwartzel. Got some players, international players that are coming through the door this year, which is fun. Aaron Wise, Rookie of the Year, is playing. We gave a sponsor exemption to Charlie Ryder, who is a freshman at USC. Charlie's a Palm Springs high school player last year. We gave him a spot last year. We do that because we want to support the local community. We want to give a spot to someone locally who, we can help their golf career by giving them a start. Charlie shot 138 the first 2 rounds last year as high school senior. His father was having brain surgery on Saturday, and he couldn't focus, obviously. Didn't have a good day Saturday and missed the cut. But his dad's healthy this year, and he's going to play this year. And I hope he has a good week. He's a hell of a good kid, and I think he's got a bright future ahead of him. So, we've got a really good field, better than last year for sure. And so we're looking forward to the week, and we're looking forward to hopefully some good weather out here. So moving on. The local community, as I said, we believe in starting local. So what that means is all of our marketing efforts are focused from the core out. Core being the local market, out would be LA, San Diego, would be outside the local market. We start local and move out. Most people that come to golf tournaments come from local, obviously. So we try to really focus hard on the airports, the billboards on the freeway, TV, radio, newspaper, social and digital is big, really come on strong the last few years. Got to have a big social digital campaign. But we hit it hard the last probably 4 to 6 weeks. In our business, ticket sales, there's no benefit to buying a golf tournament ticket early because there's no number on seats. So you're not trying to buy a front row seat because there's only a few of them. Really, that's not the case. So people wait, and they buy the tickets in the last month to see if they're going to be in town, to see what the weather's going to do, see if they're even available to come out. So that's another reason why we keep our ticket prices down and affordable. But most of our marketing is it's massive, but it's really, we hit them hard the last 4 to 6 weeks. That seems to work really well out here. And again, the venues on the golf course on 16 green. Let me stay on the program here. Local stories. Okay, hold on. Yeah, so we talked about local stories and more than golf. And let's get to that. So the next slide talks about concerts and hospitality venues. So on the left there, you can see the stage. That stage is right off Bottle Rock Musical Festival in Napa. That stage is on the driving range here. And last year we had Huey Lewis on Friday night and Goo Goo Dolls on Saturday night. This year we have Sammy Hagar on Friday night and Bad Company on Saturday night. The reason those classic rock bands do so well in Napa and here is because of the demographic. I'm 63 years old now, and when I was in college, I was listening to these bands, and that's probably the average age of the ticket buyer out here. So we focus on classic rock music. So, for example, the picture in the center is the Albertsons Vons Fan Pavilion. It's right behind the 18th green, and it's open to all fans. It's 12,000 square feet. It's got restaurants. It's got a huge television in there, football, etc. But every fan that pays $30 can get in. There's no cover charge. Really is the best seat in the house. You can see those people on the right. They're sitting in there enjoying an adult beverage, it looks like. But so anyway, like I said, when the golf's over, golf during the day, music at night on the range. That's part of our model. So again, that value, as you can imagine, $30, being able to go in the venues, watch the PGA Tour Golf, and stay for the concert. Why didn't we raise the price this year anyway? So anyway, we'll probably raise that price next year, but it's a hell of a deal. And that's important to us. This is a picture, again, inside the Vons Albertsons Pavilion. You can see the Signature Cafe. That's right out of the Vons store. That's basically a deli. On the right is some food and some beverage. You can see it's well done. It's a nice public venue for fans to enjoy. The next slide is the Casamigos Club 17. Now, these two, there's two of them, Casamigos Club 17 and Michelob Ultra Beer for Birdies. So on the 16th tee of the stadium course, which is the par 5, we have a double-ended skybox called the Michelob Ultra Beer for Birdies. It's about 5,000 square feet. You can watch what goes on 16 green, as well as you can watch the Rocket Alcatraz, the famous 17th hole at the stadium, the par 3 over the island green. If there's a birdie on 17, the beers go to half price. So you can imagine that thing is packed. You can see on the left there, that's a picture down low of the view from the Casamigos Club 17. That's the bar above, and on the right side, the gals in the photo with the fans below. That's a picture of the people that are watching on the 17th hole from the Michelob Ultra Beer for Birdies. Again, the model, our business model is open to everyone. Open to everyone. So whether it's 16 or 17 or the Vons Albertsons Pavilion on 18, anybody that buys a $30 ticket, again, can get in. So we promote that really hard, and that's what drives our attendance. Our attendance was up 3x last year from the year before, and our ticket sales as of today are double what they were last year. So obviously we're hoping for great weather between now and next Sunday to keep those ticket sales rolling in. These are just the premium food and beverage brands, as you can see, that we have in our hospitality venues. These are our offers, let's call it, for this year. A few restaurants here, a few beverage companies, etc. So those are our partners. When you come out and you go to these venues, those are the products that you're going to be able to purchase. Live music, as I said, that's pictured last year. That's Huey Lewis, I believe. He drew 9,000 people on Friday night after golf. So this time of year, golf ends at about 4:45, and the concert starts at 5:15. So the fans just simply move from the golf course to the driving range here at the stadium, and we have a concert, and it's a ton of fun. And so, again, it's a full day, golf all day, and then the music after. It's all part of that ticket, and that's what's really working for us right now from a business model standpoint. Charles Kelly, lead singer for Lady Antebellum. He played last year on Wednesday night in the Pro-Am dinner. Again, we're very focused on music. Charles did a great job last year. Kelly James is playing this year on Wednesday night at La Quina Resort, which is our host hotel. He's playing for the Pro-Am dinner on Wednesday night this year. He's phenomenal. And so we think it's really important to entertain our sponsors, give them a great time. And so while we'll induct Ernie Dunleavy, Arnold Palmer, and Bob Hope next Wednesday night, we'll also treat our our sponsors to a great night of food and music. As I said, there's Huey jumping 3 feet off the ground last year on Friday night. Interesting, unfortunate story. That was Huey's last concert. He lost his hearing after that, and he hasn't played a concert since. So it's a very sad story, but he rocked the house here at PGA West last year for sure. He was amazing. Goo Goo Dolls, Saturday night. Those people were there. They were having a decent time. Actually, this picture was in the paper here. They dubbed the event Golf Chella, which was the headline in the paper here in the Desert Sun, which was cool. So we're excited about the way this event is now going. It's certainly a lot more than a golf tournament, and it's a lot of fun. So these guys are having a decent time. As I said earlier, here's the concert series. Charles Kelly last year, Huey Lewis and Goo Goo Dolls. You can see the numbers there. Drew huge turnout. So again, Charles Kelly, he was at the private Pro-Am dinner, and then Huey and Goo Goo played Friday and Saturday night for the fans. So it's one was private and the other was public. So I think that kind of brings me to the end of my slides. Well, I got this year, as you can see, Sammy Hagar Friday night, Bad Company Saturday night, and again, all part of the ticket. Hopefully we'll have the crowds that we had last year, again this year for those two concerts, and continue to build the audience here so that we can keep this event going for a long time in the future. And that's a picture right there, of course, of number 17, the Rocket Alcatraz par 3. You can see the crowd around there. Nice turnout last year there. That was a picture from last year. And we love that hole. We love the finishing holes here for what we do for our business. 16, 17, and 18. 16 is a reachable par 5. 17 is an exciting hole. Plays about 175 during the tournament, but not all the way back, but it's a tough shot in there. And then 18 is we've got that thing surrounded with hospitality suites and skyboxes and the beautiful mountains in the background. So we think this is one of the best venues on the PGA Tour for what we do. It was built for tournament golf, and not all places that we go are, but this one is. And so we think we've got an opportunity to build this event into a really fun, big event as time goes on. So that's really kind of the end of what I had to talk about, guys, gals. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sanders. We do have a barrage of questions here.
Okay.
First one is, would it help early ticket sales and gross revenues if you created a call to action by offering a discount for early purchases?
Yeah, we did that. We've done that in the past, and it's a good idea. There's some pros and cons to it, but basically you'd have to make it a pretty substantial discount. If it's, let's say it was, buy early for $30. If you don't buy by a certain date, it goes to $40. That $10 is probably not enough, so you probably have to take it up to $50 or $60, and to make people really step up and buy early. The challenge there with this event is that the attendance when we took it over was really low. I mean, really low. And so we're trying to be a little careful on our prices, but that is something that we've talked about and may consider for next year. Now that we've got this audience going in the right direction on an incline, it probably makes sense to do that next year here. So that's a very good point, and it's likely we will do exactly that next year.
Can you talk a little bit about your marketing and promotions budget? Yeah,
so we have a budget, marketing and promotions budget. We do an awful lot of bartering and trading. That's something that we've gotten pretty good at because we try to get, as much bang for our buck as we can. So we treat our media partners like major sponsors. So we have a golf day for them. We have an event that they play golf, and we have a speaker come in. Maybe it's John Rahm, maybe it's Phil Mickelson. So they have interview opportunities. We have a suite on the 18th green that they can entertain their customers in. We really treat them like major sponsors, so we get a lot of mileage out of our budgets, and it seems to work really well. One of my advice is always to treat your media partners with a lot of respect and bring them into the fold that way. It's not common that the media is treated very well in some places, but give them great parking. Make sure you have a great media center that's clean and provide food and drinks, and just treat those media partners like sponsors, and everything will work well. And but there's never enough cash in the budget to really, at a golf tournament, to really, you got to be creative, and that's the key. And there's a lot of things that we do along those lines to get the most bang for our buck. But probably the most important thing is treat the media partners really well and get them to lean in, and they'll do a lot of great things for you.
Why don't the celebrities playing in the Pro-Am quote unquote work anymore, as you were suggesting?
Yeah, well, because the Pro-Am spots are $30,000 a spot out here to play 3 rounds, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And there's only about 100 spots that we can actually sell. The others are packaged into the title sponsor and the presenting sponsor and other sponsorships. So in order to get an A-list celebrity that's going to sell tickets, which is the key, if you have a $30 ticket, you can do the math. You've got to have at least 1,000 people come out to watch that celebrity to get your $30,000 return on that Pro-Am spot. If you end up with 20, let's say, celebrities, and you're not A-list, and those are hard to get these days because most of them want some type of an appearance fee. Now, when Bob Hope was alive, he could do a lot for, it was kind of a, I'll scratch your back and you scratch my back. I'll play in your Frank Sinatra event, you play in mine. There was a lot more of that back then, but we have to be mindful of the Pro-Am spots. We have to generate the revenue to pay the bills and also to give at least $1 million to charity. This event this year will generate somewhere around $1.5 million to charity, which is very important to us. So we've got to get value for those spots, and it's challenging to get A-list celebrities that are going to attract at least 1,000 people. So we do it with music after golf and our professional field, basically. That's how we do it.
And let me pull up this. In time, Jeff, what is your recommendation to PGA professionals to ensure their club events or community events are the best and provide the best for the participants?
Well, it's all about, it's in that case, it's about the members, it's about the public players. I mean, it's the customer. You got to focus hard on the value that you're providing, what you're charging the members for what they're receiving. I mean, it sounds trite, sounds simple, but I think that you've got to, in order to separate yourself from the pack, I think it's important to create an event that's fun, that's entertaining, that isn't just golf. I can't emphasize how important it is to get away from just running a golf tournament. It's got to be an event. It's got to have you got to have some entertainment. You've got to have a reason for people to come back. You want to make sure that you give some nice prizes, to the people that they want to, these people are competitive. They want to win whenever they play. We've learned that from all the Pro-Ams we've ran. But just make sure if you're going to do it right. I mean, do it first class if you can. And, that's how I would solicit feedback, and try to just create events that are just unique. Like these member guests that I've played in at places like Whisper Rock and other really nice golf courses, Vintage Club out here. The 9-hole, where you play with you have 9-hole matches where you play against different people, so you meet more people. You play 9-hole matches versus 18-hole matches over a 3-day period. I always enjoy that. I want to meet the people that are there and not just play with the same group. So some of that, we haven't done a lot of club events, so it's kind of hard for me to answer that one because that's not what we do. But I think some of the same principles that we live by in our PGA Tour world probably apply. So I would just always if you're going to do it first class. Take care of the customer and make sure that when it's over, they say to whoever invited them, "Hey, make sure you invite me next year." That's the bottom line right there. If the guest has a great experience, the event will go on for a long time. And if not, it won't. So that might not be the answer, but that's what I'm thinking off the top of my head.
And can you talk a little bit about the dynamic between the two PGA Tour events that Lagardere Sports orchestrates in San Diego and here in the desert?
Well, so in Napa at the Safeway Open, of course, we have the Napa Valley there. So we have about 60 wineries that come over the fence onto the property. We have a 25,000 square foot Safeway Food and Wine Pavilion, and all of those wineries are in that pavilion, along with Thomas Keller French Laundry. He's got a pop-up in there. There's a steakhouse that's got a pop-up in there. There's a Starbucks in there. There's a Safeway Deli in there. There's big screen TVs all over the place. It's where we developed this model. I'll give you, like, last year we had so we bring the dynamic is that the model is up there is food, wine, music, and golf. That's where we developed it. We brought it down here on wheels and set it down. It's very much the same. And it's all about, again, the experience. So we try to create a Napa Valley authentic experience up there with the local restaurants, local wineries, and the music. And we're trying to do the very same thing down here. Local craft breweries, local restaurants, and the music. Trying to bring that local flavor to both and accentuate all the things about Napa up there and about La Quinta and the desert down here. Up there last year, we had on Monday night for our Pro-Am sponsors, we had John Legend perform. The year before, we had Dave Matthews. The year before, we had Jimmy Buffett just doing solo acoustic shows. That was for our Pro-Am sponsors. And then the concerts last year, we had Sammy Hagar, Bad Company, and Billy Idol. And of course, Bad Company and Sammy Hagar are playing here because they were so successful up there. The dynamic is we're learning a lot in Napa, and then we're bringing those learns, we call them, down here. So, and vice versa. We're picking up some things here. We're taking those up to Napa. So by having the same model, entertainment model in both markets, we get to take the best of the best and kind of bring them up and down between La Quinta and Napa. So it's really helping make both events better because of the experience that we're getting by putting this model out there in Napa and La Quinta. I think that's probably the most important thing.
Now, in terms of getting these tournaments, who would you say is Lagardere Sports' immediate supporter? Who are you selling your services to? Moreover, the sponsor, the title sponsor, or the PGA Tour? Who draws more water in that competition?
Well, at this point in time, 31 years into this, the PGA Tour, we have a relationship with the PGA Tour that's really strong. Our Winco Foods Portland Open that Ryan Tejera runs for me won Tournament of the Year this year on the web.com. Last year, the Albertsons Boise Open won Tournament of the Year on the web.com. As I said, the Safeway Open, most fan-friendly, shared that with Phoenix Open. We've raised $250 million for charity. So we've got a relationship, a partnership, I call it, with the PGA Tour that's really strong. So when there's opportunities out west, we usually get a phone call seeing if we could, take a look at it and see if it works in our schedule. Sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. We have to have separation between our events to make them successful. We can't have two of them too close together. So that's why Napa the last week of September and the Desert Classic the second or third week of January work really well because there's separation between the two. That's the biggest challenge we have. Why we don't do more tournaments is because they're a lot of work and take a lot of time, and you can't do them too close together. So I'd say the answer is PGA Tour partnership and relationship is first and foremost. And, just reputation over the years of doing what we say we're going to do and putting on events that make money. We put on 250 or 75 events now. We've never had an event lose money. And that is very uncommon in our business. So I'm proud of the reputation that our team has built. We have a number of people who have worked with me for at least 15 years. And we have a number of new people who have come in lately who are very talented and want to win and are extremely good at what they do. So we really don't do RFPs, or we don't really compete against other companies, to be honest. Actually, in 31 years, I've never done an RFP. It's all about reputation and referral. And the phone rings when there's an opportunity, and we take a look at it and see if we can do it. And if we can, we do. And if we can't, we say no, thank you, but thanks for calling. So that's kind of where we're at right now.
So I know you probably can't talk too much about the no thank yous, but has there been a lot of no thank yous over the years?
There has been, unfortunately. That's because of the schedule. You know, it's like, let's just hypothetically say that one of the other events on the West Coast on the PGA Tour wanted us to, you know, come over and look at their tournament to run it. It'd be very, very hard because they're so close together. Matter of fact, it'd be impossible to do it the way we do it unless there was separation. We would need at least 6 weeks and probably more, probably 8 weeks between events to really do it. So that is limiting. So what we're doing is we're doing the best events we can in the 12 months we have to do them. And that's why the 2 web.coms that are a finals event, 25 card event, and the 2 PGA Tour events in Napa and La Quinta, we just really are focused on those right now, trying to make them better every year and deliver more money to charity every year. That's really where we're at. So it's growing is going to be a little bit challenging because I think these events are going to go on for a long time.
So you talk about your relationship and that's forged between Lagardere, yourself personally, and the PGA Tour. The title sponsor doesn't weigh in on that in your experience?
Oh, sure. As an example, our largest client for 30 years has been Albertsons. And Albertsons owns Vons, Save on Drugs, Safeway. So we've done 150 golf tournaments, 125 golf tournaments for the Albertsons company. Different banners, you know, like I said, Vons, Safeway, Albertsons. So yes, it for sure. The title sponsor has a lot to say about it. So we do 2 tournaments right now for Albertsons, one in Boise and one in Napa, with different, they call them banners. So Albertsons is a banner, Safeway is a banner, Vons is a banner. Yes, the title sponsor has a lot to say about it. And again, if you have a reputation for doing things at a high level, then, you know, normally you can make that relationship work with any title sponsor, really. And they'll normally come to one of our events and experience it to see how we do things. And then after they do, that's usually when that new relationship starts.
Now, can you talk a little bit about when you're not working, where do you spend most of your time, and what do you spend most of your time doing?
Well, it's a great question. Well, so the golf, let's talk about the golf, right? So obviously I grew up playing golf in Portland, Oregon, junior golf, high school golf, college golf. I was on the golf team at Oregon. When I was a freshman, Peter Jacobson was a junior. So he and I were roommates for a couple of years. We had a lot of fun down at Oregon. And then went right to the tour for 5 years. And so since then, been real busy with this golf event business that we're in. But we had a couple other businesses along the way that I actually sold as well that were related to the sports business, but weren't golf focused. So I've been very busy working, to be honest with you. My golf game is on ice. I don't play a lot of golf anymore. I'm a member at the Plantation in the desert. I was there. Freddie Couples and I grew up together as well. So I've been a member there since 1996. I'm a member at Pumpkin Ridge in Portland. Been there since 1992 when it opened. I play golf about 5 or 6 times, it seems like, a year right now. which is ridiculous, by the way. And that's going to change. I'm going to start playing some more golf. But we travel a little bit. My wife and I, we go to Europe usually every summer for a couple of weeks, get out of the States. We like to do that. Exercise pretty hard, do a lot of bike riding. You know, really just try to get some sleep. To be honest with you, this business is fun, but it takes a lot of time. And so, you know, basically that's the honest truth. I've spent a lot of time working, but I feel like I've been very lucky because every day that I've gotten up since 1987 to run golf events has been just fantastic. I mean, I feel like it's a passion for me, and the people that I work with. I love working with these people. They're phenomenal at what they do. I get a lot of joy out of that. So, and my two daughters both work for Lagardere Sports. Nicole and Erica have worked for the company since they both graduated from Oregon State, and they worked for the company for 11 and 13 years respectively. So they're here. So I get to see them most every day, and that's been terrific. So that's the answer. I need to play more golf.
Well, don't we all? Well, Mr. Sanders, I know how busy you guys are this week. Obviously, the Desert Classic is next week, and when Mr. Addis told me that he had you for this week's Catalyst, I couldn't believe it with the timing and how busy you guys must be. We are very, very grateful for the time that you've set aside for this morning's presentation, the section, the Education Committee. Thank you very, very, very much for making the time to be on with us this morning. I don't have any other further questions. Catalyst attendees, thank you very, very much for being with us this morning.
Hey, John.
Sanders, and also your assistants, the two Ryans. Thank you guys for putting together this morning's Catalyst. We appreciate it, and good luck next week. And we look forward to the tournament.
So, John, in closing, again, thank you so much for having me on this morning. When I was on the tour, I lived in Pasadena, and I played at Annandale. That was the club I played out of, and Pat Riley was the head pro, and Rick Riley was about 10 years old. And he was a hell of a club thrower, by the way. I love Ricky Riley. But anyway, so that's kind of where I've spent a lot of time in Southern California, and like you said, I was fortunate to win the Cal Open at Industry Hills. That's back when that stuff that grew in the rough was about 6 inches tall, and if you hit it, you couldn't find your ball. Ice plant, yeah. And
ice plant.
So I played a lot of golf around the area there, and I have fond memories of flying in and out of Burbank Airport. And so we have a house here in La Quinta and have had for about 20 years. So it's been fun to get back to Southern California. So anyway, thanks for having me. I hope that some of I run into you, and maybe some of the guys or gals will come out to the tournament. Let me know if you do. We'll take good care of everybody. And thanks again for having me. I really appreciate it.
Well, we appreciate it as well. Thank you very much, Mr. Sanders. Take care, everybody. Have a great day.
Thank you.